Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I am an airline pilot, and in today's video I'm going to show you the descent preparation as we are approaching our top of descent for our flight to Hamburg. Normally we start the descent preparation the latest 80 nautical miles from our top of descent, so this is a very good time to get started with it. We'll begin by reviewing the ECAM memo in order to find out if we have any limitations going on for the approach. Currently there are no faults showing, so there is nothing special that we need to do. It's also a good idea to have a look at the status page, which is indicating all normal as well. So, with that found out, let's have a look into our landing data. We're currently flying with the scattered clouds theme from Microsoft Flight Simulator, so there will be good weather at our destination with calm winds. Next up, we check that the landing elevation is set correctly, so we are seeing 0 feet is selected up here, which equals the elevation of Hamburg. Now, you can see in the flight plan we have runway 23, that's showing 90 feet, which is 50 feet higher than the actual elevation, so that is a quick cross-check for your landing elevation. The next thing we're going to monitor is fuel, so we currently have 4.9 tons of fuel on board, and we want to keep in mind how much fuel we may or may not have for our arrival. So looking at the fuel prediction page by entering the init page, we can see that for our diversion we would require so much. So currently 2.2 is the final reserve fuel, and 2.9 is our estimated fuel on board on the arrival. From here on, let's go into programming the FMS for our descent. So, we want to start by entering the correct arrival. So if we have a look at the flight plan page, we can see we are going to arrive via Rarup, and then we have the Rarup to Papa arrival in. We can review that by looking at the navigation display, putting it into the plan mode, and going on from here, let's scroll down a little bit towards Rarup, and this is the arrival that we currently have inserted. We can see Rarup is between 4,000 feet and 11,000 feet, and at this moment we are going to compare it to our charts as well. So let's get our Navigraph charts out and have a look at them. In here we have the Rarup to Papa arrival, and we can have a quick look to verify that all those restrictions actually equal what we have on the chart, which is the case over here. Now, since we are not flying with air traffic control, we probably want to shorten this down a little bit. So, in order to study a little bit of flight plan managing, let's change our arrival so that we will fly directly from Rarup to the center fix for runway 23, so to the Charlie India 23 point. In order to do that, we will enter CI23 on the next waypoint behind Rarup, so down here we select the appropriate waypoint. Now we are probably looking at 54 north, that looks about right. Let's take this one. Review our changes on the plan mode on the ND, and we can now see our direct routing. And that is going to update our top of descent calculations with the appropriate vertical profile. So let's have a quick look over here, back in the map mode, how far we are from the top of descent. We're now 50 miles out, so we still have a little bit of time available. Let's use that time to finish up our approach preparation. The next thing that we are going to have a look at is our descent winds. So you can find those by going to mode and then descent forecast, and we are going to enter everything in here. The format is flight level / wind direction / wind speed. So for example, flight level 310, wind from 360 degrees at 5 knots. And this way we would enter all the wind on the way in, so we are basically not expecting any winds, so I'm just putting a light and variable wind here in order to show you what we are expecting. Now, if you were doing a flight with real life weather, you could find your wind in the operational flight plan that SimBrief will have generated for you. And in order to find that, let's have a quick look. So, when you have your flight plan, open up here, scroll all the way down, and then you'll find this wind information block. And in here we have our descent winds, which we could enter from here. Now, for this flight I calculated without any winds, since we are using a default weather profile, but this is the data that you would have to enter. Let's go ahead then and review the next pages. The next thing we have to do is go to the takeoff and approach page. On here we are going to select which flap setting we want to use for landing, if it's going to be 30-40 or 20-20. Now in our case we're going to stay at 30-40. We have calm winds, so we don't need a wind correction, and the approach speed is 133 knots. Also on here we are going to enter our minimums for the approach, which we can find on the ILS chart. So using the Navigraph charts, let's have a look into the ILS chart for runway 23 in Hamburg. And over here we can see that we're looking at a minimums for a category Charlie aircraft of 255 feet. So let's enter that in here. MDA 255. And the other thing that we want to do at this point is to select our buck on the altimeter to 255 as well. Finally, let's quickly review the go around page, and in here we can do modifications as necessary to accommodate our company procedures. Now in our case, on the go around page we have our flap retraction speeds up here and we have our acceleration up here, and that is all that we really want to have a look at. Finally, we can modify the secondary flight plan as needed. So for example, we could enter a different runway if we had parallel runways, as we have for example in Munich. So you could enter an approach for, let's say, 26 left if you originally planned 26 right, so that in case you do get cleared for the other runway on a short notice, you can prepare everything. However, for this arrival we will not need to do that, so we are not going to do any entries in here, and just return the FMC to the cruise page now that we are done with it. The next thing, we are flying a category 1 approach, which means that we will do a manual landing. So we have set our minimum buck up here, and we do not enter any decision height. So open the decision height, select -5, and then we can close it once again. Note that only for a category 2 or 3 ILS, where a decision height is actually published, we should be using the decision height display. Airbus recommends that on a normal runway we are going to use auto brakes low, so let's go ahead and select auto brakes low. Note that if you are not able to select an auto brake setting, check your gear lever position. The gear lever has to be in the off middle position in order to be able to select an auto brake. Finally, if you have a really long runway where little braking is needed, the auto brake may be unnecessary. If you're uncertain, use the EFB landing performance in order to determine what you need. In case we decided to do a flap 20 landing, we would have to set the GPWS flap 20 switch, which we can find up here. But we are going to keep our GPWS landing flaps on 30-40, as that is what we are about to use. At this point, you would also brief your colleague on the expected arrival, but for us, that is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. If you do like the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and if you really want to support the channel, you can do that through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again soon.